नमस्ते। मैं डॉक्टर कपिला राठौड़ आप सभी का मेरेकल माइंड भारत पीएमसी जामनगर में स्वागत करती हूँ। फ्रेंड्स, आज हमारे लिए एक बहुत ही अद्भुत दिन है जहां पर हम मास्टर देना मरियम जी को इनवाइट कर रहे हैं हमारे इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे। हम कर रहे हैं द अनटोल्ड स्टोरी ऑफ सीता, सीतायन, जो पत्री सर की बहुत ही रिकमेंडेड बुक थी और वो बार बार लगातार सभी को कह रहे थे कि सीतायान को पढ़ो, सीतायान को पढ़ो। तो सीतायान हमने सबने पढ़ी और हम अपने सीतायान के इस लास्ट टॉपिक पर है, लास्ट कमेंट्री पर है, जहाँ पे देना मरियम जी अपनी जो भी कथा है उनको किस तरीके से उन्होंने इस बुक के माध्यम से लिखा और हम सभी के समक्ष शेयर किया, उनको वो बता रही है। तो लेट अस वार्म वेलकम टू देना मरियम मैम। हम देना मरियम मैम को इनवाइट करते हैं। देना मरियम मैम इज इज सी इज द चेयर ऑफ इंटरनेशनल एडवाइजरी कमिटी फॉर Arovali. She begins in the interchair. Yes, yes. So advisory committee for the movement of late 1990s. She served as vice chair of Millennium World Peace Summit for religious and spiritual leaders held at the United Nations in New York in the year 2000. She subsequently convened a meeting for women religious for spiritual leaders at the Palais des Nations in the Geneva from the Gathering Fund in Global Peace Initiative for Women. In 2002, an organization chaired by a multi-faith group of women spiritual leaders. In 2008, Miss Merriam was one of the founding members of the Competitive Alliance, which later became a program of GPIW. So she has very profound knowledge of spirituality. She is almost 50 years a Kriya Yogi practitioner, and she has done tremendous job for various books just like The Untold Story of Sita, Rikmani, Sita in Yoga, and many more. Dakinis, Dance with the Dakinis, and many books she has written for us. We, as a spiritual seeker, truly inspired the books what she wrote. Miss Dena Merriam, as a student of Paramhansa Yogananda and a practitioner of Kriya Yoga meditation, she is also a long-time student of the great text of the Vedic tradition. Miss Merriam received her master's degree from Columbia University and has served on numerous boards. In 2014, she received a Nivano Peace Prize for her interfaith peace efforts and hold an harmony and peace. She has received honorary degree in peace studies for the MCU University in Thailand. She is a author of My Journey Through Time, The Untold Story of Sita, When the Bright Moon Rises, Rukmani in the Turning of Time, and Dance with the Dakini. And the upcoming book of her is The Yoga of Sita. So let us warm welcome to Dena Merriam ma'am. Hello ma'am, namaskar and suswagat in our platform Miracle Mind Bharat. Yes ma'am, over to you.
Namaste. I'm happy to be here with you. It's always. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, perfectly okay.
Okay. It's always a great blessing to speak of Sita and to share stories about the divine. So I'm very happy to be here. I was very happy to learn that you've just gone through the autobiography of a yogi. So you,
Yeah.
yeah. So
In
that's very wonderful.
Yeah, in our this spiritual circle, we wrote these particular things about Paramahansa Yoganand and his characteristics because we just doing swadhyay in the autobiography of yoga and
Wonderful.
various books. Yeah, thank you so
Wonderful.
much, ma'am. You are coming, and it is a pleasure of us that you are with us. So, ma'am, what about Sita? What is inspiring point in your particular life journey about Sita? What inspired you?
So I read the Ramayana when I was a young woman, my early 20s, and immediately felt a great devotion to Ram and to Sita. Um, but the telling of the story did not exactly coincide with my understanding of Ram and Sita. And so, I realized that every telling of the story comes through an interpretation. And the same event can be seen in many different ways. So Sita going into Lanka could be seen in one way, or it could be seen in another way. It could be seen, oh, she was captured and taken, or she chose to go in to help Ram from within the kingdom, from within the heart of the demon kingdom. So you could see the same event in different ways, and some of it depends on the era. And so Sita and Ram, that whole story took place well before writing, thousands of years before it was written down. By the time it was written down, it was another age. It was no longer Treta Yuga. It was already an age of declined spiritual understanding. So when I at the beginning of the untold story of Sita, I described my whole experience in accidentally. It was not planned. I had been doing something in Varanasi when I just thought, let me go to Ayodhya. It's close by. I took a train to Ayodhya. It was at a time when there was still a lot of security because the site where the temple is was contested. And so, but when I got there, I didn't see any of that. I was taken into another time period. And some months later, I was on a pilgrimage to Vaishno Devi, and I was doing a whole pilgrimage through Kashmir. And in Jammu, there's a Raghunath temple, which I
Yes.
also visited. And there I had a profound experience, which brought me back in time. From that came the writing of the book, where for a year, while I was writing it, the only way I can describe it is I lived in Sita Loga. I was in the presence of Sita, hearing and seeing things, and I see myself as just a scribe recording the message that are coming through. And I felt after writing the untold story of Sita that was the only book I would write on Sita. But last year, when I was returning from India last February, after launching the Indian version of the untold story of Sita, a whole new story came to me. And in the introduction to that new book, Sita's Yoga, which is now out and available, I talk about how it came in a dream, and the whole book was laid out, and it's for a purpose. My understanding is that Sita and Ram together are very much present now because we are at an evolutionary crossroad. And the function of Narayan and Narayani is to help the evolution. That's why Narayan takes physical form at different important evolutionary stages. And we are at such an evolutionary stage right now, where we have to evolve beyond our destructive impulses. And so there's a lot that we can learn from reading about that other important stage, which was an evolutionary stage when Ram and Sita took birth also. How can we apply that to our world today? This is the reflection in which led me to write Sita's Yoga. How can we apply the teachings of Sita thousands of years ago to the world today? How can we apply it to our life individually and to our collective lives? How do we understand what's happening in the world today and how we can contribute to the betterment of the world through her teachings?
राइट, ब्यूटीफुल इनसाइट मैम। यस, तो मैम ने अभी ये बताया कि किस तरीके से उनको इंस्पायर किया सीता ने, और यही चीजें थी कि वो हजारों साल पहले जब उस रेल में चली गई, जब वो अयोध्या में आई थी, तो बहुत सारे सुरक्षा कर्मी वहां पे थे। फ्रेंड्स, हम अभी पढ़ रहे हैं कमेंट्री, जो जहां पर देना मरियम जी ये सारी बातों को हमारे सामने रिवील कर रहे हैं। तो सीता जो राम के साथ थी, वही सीता के बारे में बताते हुए वो कह रही है कि जिस रेल में वो चले गए, तब उनको जम्मू का जो वैष्णो देवी का मंदिर है, वहां पर ये सारी घटनाएं जो है उनके सामने आई। वो इस तरीके से वो अपने जीवन में सीता माँ को लेके आई। और अभी की जो उनकी बुक है, सीता इन योग, द योग इन सीता, तो उसमें भी यही बातें वो कर रही है कि प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ में कैसे सीता का जो है लेसन है, लर्निंग जो है वो उनको अप्लाई की जाए। तो ये उनको इंस्पायर कर रहा था। वन मोर क्वेश्चन मैम, आई हैव सम question in a written form, just because we have many यहाँ पे साधक, we are very much spiritual seeker here, so all have a little questions to ask with you. So I have one more question, that connectivity of Sita's journey help people heal emotionally or spiritually. Do you think about that? Sita's story heal emotionally or spiritually in recent people, latest people, modern people?
I think that many people have written to me uh, to say that after reading the untold story of Sita, they were healed of some emotional issue that they were struggling with. Sita has healing power, and my hope is that when people read the book, just like I made that personal connection and felt the presence of Sita, that they will also be in the presence of Sita. And my effort was to bring her presence so that you have your own relationship with Sita. I can just open a door through the telling of the story, and then each one is able to have their own personal relationship with Sita. So wherever struggling that you're going through, whatever difficulties, you have direct access to Sita for her healing energy and for her guidance. And the Sita yoga gives more specific guidance on how to deal with difficulties. So the untold story of Sita is the journey, Sita's journey, and how she and Ram worked together to accomplish what they did. Sita's yoga is more about the specific teachings of how we can cultivate dharmic virtues, dharmic qualities to help us through life.
Very powerful, yes, ma'am. And your particular reincarnation in as a form of Meenakshi, then after Ansuya, what is the lesson of your today's life with that particular reincarnation, ma'am?
You know, when I this was the untold story of Sita was the second book that I wrote. The first book that I wrote was called My Journey Through Time, where it described my experiences in awakening memories of many previous births. But I didn't. I went back in time, maybe 1,000 years. I didn't go back as far as Sita's time. And I relived many of those lives, and I came to understand the general pattern of karma, how our karma creates conditions for us from one life to the next, and how what begins in one life finds fulfillment in the next. So it was really a reflection on the whole process of rebirth and the understanding of karma. When I had the experience in writing the untold story of Sita, I found myself in the persona of this servant, Meenakshi. And it was difficult for me to believe. Was I really recapturing a memory from so many thousands of years ago? And so I leave the reader to decide, is that really a memory of an earlier birth, or was I channeling that servant? To me, it was a very real experience. I felt myself living that life of the servant. And I recognize that a part of me always sees myself in that role as a servant of the divine. But one of the most touching things to me about that story is that in that time, in that Treta Yuga, a servant was not regarded as a servant is today. A servant there were no distinctions in society. Everyone did the tasks that had been born to do without any judgment or distinctions. So it's an interesting process when you see your past births, because in one way you've moved beyond. You're not that personality anymore, and the further back in time you go, the more distant you are from that personality, because you've grown a lot, you've had a lot of experiences, and yet there's a small part of that personality that still resides within you. So when I finished my first book, My Journey Through Time, I wrote, who am I? Am I this one or that one? Am I the servant? Am I the dancer? Who am I? And then I said, I am all of them and none of them, because we are beyond. To find your true self is beyond any of the personalities. When you know that you've had 1,000 incarnations, which one is you? So you are a piece of each one of those lies within you, and yet you're above and beyond any of them. And so this whole journey of mine to see past incarnations is to come to that realization that I'm all of them and none of them. And ultimately they become like dreams. And when I move on from this birth, this life, Dena will just be another one of those personalities, another one of the memories.
वंडरफुल वंडरफुल मैम। तो अभी मास्टर्स सभी ये जान ले कि मैम को जब ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया कि आपने मीनाक्षी में और आपने अनसुया में क्या देखा और आपकी लाइफ में ये क्या सडन चेंज लेके आया, तो मैम ये बता रही है कि मैंने बहुत सारे रीइंकार्नेशन मैंने देखे, और वो उनकी जो बुक है थ्रू जर्नी ऑफ टाइम, थ्रू जर्नी इनटू टाइम, जो ये बुक है उसमें उन्होंने सारे जो उनके इनकारनेशन है उनके बारे में लिखा है। तो वो बता रही है कि लास्ट में मैंने यही जाना मेरे इस वर्ड से कि मैं सब कुछ हूँ और मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ। दैट इज द वेरी पावरफुल मैसेज फ्रॉम मैम, कि मैं सब कुछ हूँ और मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ। तो ये वननेस की जो फीलिंग है मास्टर, उसको ही हमें अपने जीवन में उतारना है कि हर एक रीइंकारनेशन में हमने हजारों जन्म लिए हैं, हमने लाखों जन्म शायद लिए हैं, हमने चाहे 100 जन्म भी लिए हैं, तो हर एक जन्म में हमें यही सीखना है कि मैं सब कुछ हूँ और मैं कुछ भी नहीं हूँ। क्योंकि हम अपने अगर वो रीइंकारनेशन को पकड़ के रखेंगे तो हमारी जो ये टुडेस जनरेशन है और हमारा जो ये रियल लाइफ है अभी का प्रेजेंट लाइफ, उसको हम अच्छे से जी नहीं पाएंगे। तो हमें ये सीखना है कि हमने जो कुछ भी लेसन लेना था वो इस जन्म में, वो पिछले जन्मों से लेसन लेकर हम आगे बढ़ पाए। तो मैम का ये पावरफुल मैसेज रहा। यस मैम। और इन ये हमारी जो बुक है द अनटोल्ड स्टोरी ऑफ सीता, यू हैव मेंशन हियर सीता एज ए powerful divine feminine energy, not as a weakness or a last source of women. So what is the understanding of your own in you are as a founder of Global Peace for Women? So what is your understanding in modern scenario, women stand at which particular place right now?
Well, when I looked back into my past, I saw that I had very often incarnated as a woman and felt that I didn't have a voice, that I didn't have control over my life. And in the past, that was most often the case. Women did not have control. They were told who to marry, how to live, what to do. And so in this life, I was able to bring to fruition that desire to give women a voice, to give women an opportunity. That's when I established the Global Peace Initiative of Women to create a platform for women to organize peace dialogues around the world. I didn't know at that time that I was fulfilling a desire for many lifetimes, that women should have an equal platform. And in writing the untold story of Sita was the culmination of that, of giving Sita the voice. And this is, so many of us women have had lives where we have not had control over our lives. And that has changed now. Women do have control over their lives, but if you look at the decision making around the world, it is not in the hands of women. If it were in the hands of women, I think the world would be a different place. There would be much more care for the earth, understanding of the interconnection of life, in a more understanding of more nurturing of life, of children, of earth care, the world would be a different place. And when I look at decision makers, now there are some examples, but I'd often feel that many women who have made it to the top in their careers have had to follow a male model. I see that with women CEOs. That was the only way for a certain generation of women to attain leadership in their fields. And so there's still more work to do. Until women are represented equally on all platforms, there's going to be more work to do.
Exactly, yes. वेरी पावरफुल मैसेज मैम, यस। तो मैम ने अभी ये बताया कि अगर विमेन के हाथ में ताकत होती, विमेन के हाथ में पावर होता इनटू दिस पर्टिकुलर मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड, तो वुमेन सब कुछ कर सकती थी। उनकी जो क्वालिटीज है, उनकी जो स्ट्रेंथ है, उसके अकॉर्डिंगली वो हर एक चीज जो है, उनका अगर डिसीजन पावर देखा जाए तो वो हर एक जो कार्य है वो पहले से ही कर रही है। और उनके अगर हाथ में वो लीडरशिप आ जाती इस पर्टिकुलर टाइम में, तो उनके पास जो पावर था उस पावर के अकॉर्डिंगली वो राइट डिसीजन लेती, और वो जो डिसीजन होता वो सबके बेनिफिट के लिए ही होता। तो ये मैम का मैसेज रहा इस क्वेश्चन के आंसर में। फ्रेंड्स, अगर आप कोई क्वेश्चन पूछना चाहते हो फेस टू फेस, तो डेफिनेटली यू आर इनवाइटेड। अगर आप चाहते हैं कि मैम के साथ डायरेक्ट कन्वर्सेशन करें तो यू आर मोस्ट वेलकम। इज एनीवन वांट टू आस्क मैम क्वेश्चन टू मैम? Yes, ma'am. Despite all adversities, Sita remains centered and powerful. In this particular book, The Untold Story of Sita, the patience of Sita, the strength and inner power of Sita is really tremendous, mind blowing. So, I would ask that you have mentioned many lady rishis in this particular book. So, you are a student of Vedanta. So, do you think it is the your particular way that you understand the rishi lady, and then after it is in your this channeling message? What is your
So
understanding?
there were many women rishis. Women were the creators of the Vedas. Also, there were many women rishis who took part in bringing into manifestation the Vedas. We know some of their names, but often in the tradition, they're not referred to as sages. They're referred to as the chaste and dutiful wife of sage so and so. They're not called sages. They're called the wife of, and that I think is a result of the when Sita and Ram lived, there was total equality between men and women. It was the Treta Yuga. In the Treta Yuga, I'll pause for you to be able to translate. There was a different consciousness. And it was only in the declining ages that the patriarchy came into power. There was no patriarchy during the time of Ram and Sita. I'll let you translate that.
Yeah, ma'am.
You
So,
want me to
मैम ने जो
continue, or should I
yes, ma'am,
pause? Or
you can
I can.
continue, ma'am. Yes.
So I wanted to get back into the consciousness of the Treta Yuga, which is why Sita tells her sons the stories of the women sages, and we it's time for them to be acknowledged as great sages. Arundhati was a great sage. There were so many of them who Sita encountered at that time, and we've come out of the Kali Yuga, so it's time to outgrow the mindsets of the Kali Yuga, which is the patriarchal mindset. And that's the struggle we're in right now, to really leave behind so many of the mindsets, the worldviews, the misperceptions of the Kali Yuga mind as we move toward a higher age and a higher understanding. And that's why the story of Sita is so important now, because it can give us an understanding of what it was like in a higher age, what the worldview was like in a higher age when men and women equally participated in spiritual life. And that's why I bring those women sages into Sita's story.
Exactly, yes. सो जो हमने पूछा मैम से कि ये जो लेडी सेजिस जो संत आए थे बुक में, तो वो क्या रोल प्ले कर गए, तो मैम ने ये सारी चीजें बताई कि यहाँ पर जो उनकी शक्तियां थी वो लाइक अरुंधति एक पावरफुल लेडी थी। यहाँ पे जय ऋषि की बात की गई, गार्गी जो थी, लोपामुद्रा जो थी, अनसुया जो थे, जो हमने बुक में पढ़ा मास्टर्स, तो वो सारी लेडीज के बारे में, वो सेजिस लेडी के बारे में बता रहे हैं कि उनकी जो शक्तियां थी वो लोगों को इकट्ठा करके एक अलग तरीके का जो युग का निर्माण करना था वो था। क्योंकि वो सिनारियो चले गए, बहुत सारी जो सदियां चली गई, वहां पे उनको एक ऐसा रोल मिला था कि वो युग परिवर्तन में अपना जो कुछ भी है वो योगदान दे पाए। तो इस तरीके से उनको लेडी सेजिस के बारे में जो बात कर रही है वो बता रही है। यस मैम। सो केया इज one our participants wants to ask something related to that untold story of Sita, or any questions related to this particular event. So yes, Kaya, unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, team. Hi, ma'am. Um, First, I would really like to appreciate the work that is being done by PMC J. I'm not sure about the full form.
Jamnagar.
Jamnagar. So thank you so much for providing us the opportunity to connect with ma'am. Truly grateful, ma'am. And Dena ma'am, I want to just express my gratitude. I think it's because of you that I have been able to connect with Mata's energy. It started back in 2024 with Sita Mata's story. And then I was able to connect with Rukmani Mata's story. And eventually now I'm connecting with your third book, The Dance with the Dakinis. And I cannot comprehend that how coincidentally, but the three books were read at the right time. So, and ultimately helping us understand that goddess is one, and and by reading your book, I just want to express that you have helped me understand that it is the goddess who chooses us. We can just prepare ourselves, and how you have helped us learn the impact of cause and effect, the law of karma, and how we carry things through lifetimes, and how certain things turns into our sanskar, and how actually goddess helps us to dissolve our karmas. And it is actually beautiful. Last year, when I was reading your book, The Untold Story of Sita, I did my own personal small little book club. And at that point, I was connected with PMC. I was connected with PMC. I was connected with Buddha CEO. I was connected with my meditation journey. But through your books, I was able to connect 10 other girls who were young minds in their late 20s, in their early 30s, who connected with Mata Sita, who you healed so beautifully. So again, ma'am, I don't know when I get to see you again. I'm truly grateful to you. I just want to express that to you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you for this new book as well. I've not read it yet, but I am just too eager to read it. And I think that I'm truly grateful because you have helped us understand a lot, many concepts that we need to. And thank you so much, ma'am. That's all I want to express. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kaya.
Thank you for that, because I'm so happy to hear how my readers have incorporated that understanding into their own life. That is the main point. I mean, we know conceptually about karma, but since I was young, I always wanted to understand how it works, because if you understand how the past created your current conditions, then you know that your current life is creating your future. So I have been trying to work on a book called Memories of a Future Life, where I project myself 200 years in the future. You can see your future trajectory through deep inner introspection. When you know what's left undone, you can't achieve everything in a life. There are things that are just going to be left for the future. And so we have to take more conscious control in creating our future. Either we do it unconsciously or we do it consciously. So I think the whole process of awakening is to live much more mindfully. To when you meet conditions in life and people, then you know you have a history with them and you've got to resolve it, to beautifully resolve it. And then you can more consciously create, okay, what is my future trajectory going to be? And that's one of the things that I've learned through my own experiences in writing these books. When I say, aha, that's how one life affects the other. Things that didn't get fulfilled get fulfilled. But then, of course, you create new patterns. And so it's a long journey. We have a long history ahead of us. And, and we have a future that we can participate consciously in creating. So thank you. Thank you for that, for sharing.
Thank you, ma'am. But, ma'am, I just have one more gratitude and one question to ask. I really want to express my gratitude for introducing Satya to us, that you have introduced in your Rukmini book. It has given me so many answers that I cannot tell you. But one answer I want to ask, ma'am. I have always seen in current time, that women who suffer in relationships, the spiritual intellect of a man is not at par. But when I went through the story of Satya, and when I went through your marriages that you had expressed in prior lives, in all those lives, like the marriage that you shared with Yashe, so the energy of the masculine was more gentler, more experienced than the energy of the feminine. And with that, one of the key takeaways that I've taken is that it's important for a masculine to be, more spiritually contained, to have that capacity to contain the feminine. Could you just help me understand this better or rectify my thought process on this?
That's absolutely true, what you said. I mean, that's a wonderful observation. When I was writing those stories, I realized that I had lives where I had bad relationships, and and some of that is told in my first book, and then and so I was looking, where I knew that I had. We all have an ideal of what a relationship should be, right? We all aspire toward that ideal, and in many ways, it's very difficult for our partners to live up to that ideal, right? But there are advanced souls, and on occasion, we do have that experience in our history, in our long history. We do have that experience, and knowing that, uh, I was married early in my life, and then I got divorced, and I have not remarried in this life because my life is devoted to my sadhana. I have children, and my writing. But I know that I have experienced that ideal which we find in Ram and Sita as well, and that's why we so resonate. Uh, there are very few examples of the avatars coming as a couple, as a divine couple. Ram and Sita are the ideal of that, and of course, we all aspire toward that. We all want that for a woman. We want that Ram, right? But I think that more realistically, a relationship is to help the other achieve that highest potential, right? In a more mature relationship, I have known very few spiritual couples, two actually, two in my lifetime. One of them, both devotees of Yogananda, it was the second marriage for both of them. They got married, had children, divorced, found each other later in life. And I once said to them that they had such a beautiful relationship because they were independent. They were not dependent on each other. They each were two artists. They each had their own artwork. They did their sadhana together. They mutually supported each other. And how rare that was, mutually respecting and supporting each other. But they said to me, it took us several lifetimes to reach this stage. They had been together in previous lifetimes, and it took a lot of work for them to finally find each other at a mature spiritual stage where they can have that kind of relationship. And so for most of us, it's helping our partners advance on the spiritual, for mutually, to help the man develop the qualities that he needs, and to help the women develop the qualities that we need, and we actually complement each other in a certain way. But it takes a lot of work, because few of us have that spiritual maturity, especially when you come together young. If you come together later in life and you've been on the spiritual path, hopefully you've developed a certain spiritual maturity where you can work on your own shortcomings, which we all have. But I do believe that each one of us at some point will realize that ideal of Ram and Sita in this world or another plane. There's one book that you haven't read, probably, When the Bright Moon Rises.
It is on my list. Yes, ma'am.
And often my books begin with a dream vision or end with a dream vision. That one began with the dream vision. I had this most incredible dream vision where a female deity of the moon world was marrying a male deity of the sun world. And in that marriage, there was an explosion of joy throughout the universe. And I said to myself, we don't know what takes place on the higher realms. These marriages, we see that in the stories we hear of Shiva and Parvati. With the marriages take place, it's not just on the physical level, on so many different levels, right? But there is that union. We all have a Satya. We all have that partner who may be on a higher realm, and we're not yet able to manifest at that level. And part of the inspiration for me is to be able, I know where Satya is. He's at a level that I'm not yet fully residing in. You'll see in Sita's yoga, the teller of that story, the narrator, comes to realize that she is existing on many planes at the same time. And we are also. But we've put that part of us to sleep. We exist in the astral realm. We are there. But in order to more fully conduct a human life, we put that part of us to sleep. But as we grow in our spiritual awakening, we are conscious of ourselves existing on many planes at once. And sometimes I'm very conscious of myself existing in that astral plane. Of course, there's the astral world and there's the causal world. And in my future writings, I hope to go more into that. What is life like in that astral world? And then we go into the causal world. And we get a little taste of this in Sita's yoga. Because it was a higher age, those realms were more accessible. We now, in the age that we're in, during the Kali Yuga, we could only see the densest world. Of course, in every age, there are people who are, in that consciousness. But now that we're moving into Dwapara Yuga, or have moved into, it's a little bit more accessible for us to reach those realms. And so I hope to make them more real for people in my future writings. But I guess sort of wandered a little bit from your question, but when we're now in this human consciousness, and when we are in partnership, we do the best we can to see that everything that comes to us is for our learning, and the hope that we can also help with the learning of our partner, mutually advance us in our journey.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Truly grateful. And thank you for providing this opportunity to all of us today. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I'm always available for those who want to delve deeper into some of these topics.
Please, ma'am, please let us
Definitely.
know. Please.
Yes. We all are a kind of spiritual seeker who really want to know about our own reincarnation, and then after we can learn about this particular way. incarnation give us very much insight in our particular present lifestyle, ma'am. That is the way we are just listening all your stories. Thank you so much. Deepest gratitude. And ma'am, the Sitayan, the untold story of Sita, start with one particular curse to Meenakshi's family, curse to Meenakshi. So what is that? And do you believe that curse and superstition is right now? We should believe for that way.
In you know the in the Satya Yuga, which was before the Treta Yuga, there was no need for practices, because the general consciousness of the population was one of unity with the divine. And that's why the stories that we have of the very ancient days, where people could see the devatas, because the veil between the worlds was much thinner, and you could see into those higher realms. The devas, in To Dance with Dakinis, I talk about the very earliest days in Tibet, where they said the gods inhabited that land. Well, there was easy access between all the realms in the Satya Yuga, and one could manifest what one needed. So people talk about, before agriculture, they talk about what they call the Stone Age. Well, people just lived freely on Earth. They could manifest what was needed. Earth provided everything that was needed. There was no need to toil to grow the food. And the yugas, as a whole discussion about how the yugas, the science of the yugas, of our solar system's journey through the galaxy. But I'll leave that for another time. But in the Treta Yuga, when the rishis were realizing that they were losing that consciousness of living in divine awareness, practices like mantras were given to help them regain that unity with the divine, that awareness of the unity with divine. So the mantras helped them regain the consciousness of the Satya Yuga. But over time, as that the mantras began to be used for other purposes, not just to regain the consciousness of the Satya Yuga. It began to be used, to control outer events, to bring the rains, to bless people, to curse people. It began to be used for material purposes, and that was a decline from its original intention. And so the curses came about. This was before justice systems. Somebody did a misdeed. Well, the rishi was going to impose justice and a curse. But over time, that began to be misused too, because as you see, consciousness declines as the yugas progress. And that's when Sita stepped in and said, the curses will lose their power. And Ram set up a justice system so that there would be a system to help people. And you'll see in Sita's yoga, the justice system that Ram set up was to help people outgrow their violent tendencies or their negative traits. And there's a whole story about that in Sita's yoga. But do curses still exist now? Well, I don't. I think very few people have that power. And those who have the power would not use it in that way. So that's not a reality in today's world.
Truly, ma'am. Yes. तो मैम को ये पूछा गया कि जो मीनाक्षी के कर्स के साथ सीतायान की शुरुआत हुई थी, द अनटोल्ड स्टोरी ऑफ सीता, तो मैम ये बता रही है कि उस टाइम पे ऐसा जो लोगों के पास पावर था वो उनका मिसयूज भी करते थे, और अभी के टाइम में भी अगर कर्ज आ जाता है तो वो भी लोग मिसयूज करते हैं। तो वो जो एक सिनारियो था जहां पे ये सारी चीजें हो रही थी, तो अनटोल्ड स्टोरी ऑफ सीता में ही माता सीता ने ये जो क्वेश्चन है वो राइज किया था, और ऋषि गार्गी को उन्होंने ये बताया था कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है। उनके पिता जनक राजा के साथ भी वो वार्तालाप हुआ था, उनके बारे में वो बताते हैं कि ऐसा आगे नहीं होना चाहिए, कि कर्ज की वजह से एक फैमिली जो बिल्कुल निर्दोष है और पुराने लोगों ने, उनके पूर्वजों ने जो दुष्कृत्य किए हैं, उनकी वो पीढ़ी दर पीढ़ी वो कर्ज की जो है वो भुगतान करे। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। यही युग था फ्रेंड्स, सतयुग के बाद का द्वापर युग का जो अंत था, जहाँ पे नारायण और नारायणी के स्वरूप में माता सीता और श्री राम जी ने जन्म लिया था। तो वो उस टाइम पे वो बता रही है कि ऐसा बिल्कुल भी आगे जाके नहीं होना चाहिए। और उन्होंने फिर ये जो कन्या गुरुकुल की भी बातचीत की थी, तो वो भी यहाँ पे सीतायान में हमको ये बताया जा रहा है। आगे केया का जो सवाल था, उन्होंने सत्या करके एक कैरेक्टर है रुक्मणी में, मैम की जो बुक है, तो उनके बारे में वो पूछ रही हूँ, और मैम की जो लाइफ जर्नी रही उनके बारे में भी उन्होंने कुछ क्वेश्चंस पूछे थे, तो उनके मैम ने बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुली आंसर्स दिए थे। यस, एनीवन एल्स? यस डॉक्टर ख्याति, यस, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
Hello, hello, Dena ma'am. Uh, I extend my warmest gratitude to you. I came across your book. The first book which I read of you was Rukmini, and then I went. Next book was The Untold Story of Sita. So with Rukmini, I felt the power of Mata Narayani, but with Sita, it healed me so deeply that I read the book twice, and now I have started. Yes, it was like a revision for me. And now, just yesterday, I have started Sita's Yoga. Yesterday, I have received the copy, and I want to, like, you in this yug. I am truly grateful to you because you have brought us to our like you have told that everybody is one in one consciousness. So God, Sita Mata tells that I am as I am, similarly you are also, so we are all one. So that strength in this Sita's yoga, you are same, I am same, we are all in one consciousness. All these things, they are bringing a deeper awareness. But I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to you because you brought all these things into our life. Because in Ramayan and in another other all those things which are already written, we are not aware. Matlab, like in Ramayan also, I could not see Sita Ma in that way. So I used to not like I could not connect myself with Ramayan, whatever it is described about Ma Sita. But in Untold Story of Sita, I could deeply relate myself and I could deeply feel that yes, she is Devi and she was not a captive. She did everything on her own, and she was the inner power which brought everything, which ended the Ravan's era, and which brought peace again into the world, and it was her own will. And then I gradually realized that every power resides in us. We just have to dive in. We have to go inner instead of external world. We have to go inner. And all this happened only because of you. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Matlab, I do not have any words, but I wanted to, like, this is how I am able to talk to you. This is also an honor to me that I am able to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Khyati. Yes, really, we deeply connect with the untold story of Sita. And literally, ma'am, we are crying when we read this book. We are literally crying when you are entering that particular way that Meenakshi turned into her rebirth in Ansuya, and what she felt about Sri Ram and Mata Sita. And Soma told the stories in front of Ansuya and her mother. So we deeply connected with all particular characters. One more character, ma'am, Amitha. Amitha told Mata Sita that I am doing nothing for you, and I am just as a servant. So Mata Sita said that we all are served here, we all are servant, we are the servant of this particular universe, that deeply connected with my own self, that yes, really, Mata Sita told us this beautiful line that we are the servant and we serve this humanity. Ma'am, what about that global peace initiative for women? What inspire you? Tell us about that particular way.
That's a whole story.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
try to tell it briefly. I was asked to help organize a big summit at the UN in 2000 of religious leaders. And because it was the UN, they wanted the top religious leaders, and there were very few women. And so the summit took place, and the few women that were there were not happy. And they said, "We've had no voice here. Can we have another summit of where women are the dominant force?" And the Secretary General at that time said, "Okay, go to Geneva to the UN meeting there." It was very difficult to arrange that meeting for women in 2000. It took place actually 2002. All of the foundations who had supported the first summit with millions of dollars closed the door and were not interested in the Women's Summit. So we had sent invitations out to women from around the world, spiritual teachers, Buddhist nuns, Swaminis, and all different women, and we had no money. And so we were in a crisis. And so I prayed to Narayani. I always felt this connection with Narayani since many, many years. And so I prayed to her. And the money started to flow from individual women, not the big foundations. I would get a businesswoman write and say, "We'll support one woman." How we raised that money was miraculous because we had sent out the invitations before we had any money. And when all the foundations closed the door, I really thought this is going to be a disaster. But it was Narayani who inspired individual businesswomen from around the world to support this conference. And it took place, and it took place in Geneva in 2002. It was far more peaceful. The first summit was mostly the male religious leaders. There was so much contention. Who speaks first at the UN? Who speaks longer? It was a lot of fighting. But when the women came, they were just so grateful for a platform. And I thought my job was done. I've done these 2 summits that I was asked to do. I'm finished. But the women there requested further meetings, and that's how the Global Peace Initiative of Women took form. The women requested that we create a platform where they could help bring peacemaking efforts to areas of conflict. And then it moved into environmental work and climate work, and 25 years, different things emerged. But I owe the beginnings of it to Narayani because she supported this from the very beginning. And then money began to flow.
Awesome. Awesome.
Global Peace Initiative was formed.
Right. सो मास्टर्स मैम बता रही है कि ये जो ग्लोबल पीस इनिशिएटिव फॉर वुमेन यही फाउंडेशन था जहां से शुरुआत हुई, क्योंकि हमारा जो क्वेश्चन था उसके अगेंस्ट में मैम ने ये सारा अभी जो बातचीत करी उनका ये आंसर था कि उनके पास पैसे नहीं थे। ये फाउंडेशन तो उन्होंने क्रिएट कर दिया पर पैसे तो थे नहीं। फिर उन्होंने प्रे करी नारायणी से और पैसे कहीं से आने लगे। ऐसे बिजनेस वीमेंस भी आई जो हर तरीके से उनको मदद करने के लिए तैयार हो गई थी, और नारायणी का ही ये यहाँ पर रोल था कि उनकी प्रे की वजह से उन्होंने जो मदद करी उन्हीं की वजह से उनका जो ये पूरा फाउंडेशन है बहुत अच्छी तरीके से अभी रन कर रहा है। तो वो बता रही है कि पूरी दुनिया में हमने इन्विटेशन भी दे दिए थे, सभी लोगों को हमने बता भी दिया था कि हमारा इस तरीके का ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है और यहाँ पर ये प्रोग्राम होने वाला है, पर बिना पैसों के हमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते थे। तो नारायणी की मदद से ही हमारा ये सब कुछ चल रहा है और बहुत अच्छी तरीके से ये पीस फाउंडेशन है वो रन कर रहा है, ये मैम हमें बता रही है। यस प्रवीण जी, आइए और मैम से आप अपने क्वेश्चन को पूछिए।
हेलो मैम, थैंक यू सो मच आने के लिए। आप थोड़ा ट्रांसलेट कर देना कपिला जी।
Yes.
मैंने पिछले महीने जब आपकी ऑटोग्राफ के साथ ये गिफ्ट मिला मुझे थ्रू माई डॉटर विभूति और उसी दिन से कनेक्शन फील हो रहा है सीता माँ के साथ भी और आपके साथ भी लगता है कोई पर्पस लेके आई है बुक मेरी लाइफ में। और देखो 1 महीने में ही अंदर से इतनी ज्यादा इंट्यूशन आ रही है, 1 महीने में ही आपसे मिलने का भी मौका मिल गया और पर्सनली थैंक यू करने का भी बेटी के थ्रू मैंने थैंक यू बोला था और इन पर्सन मुझे मौका मिला आपको थैंक यू बोलने का। थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच। बहुत कनेक्शन फील हो रहा है 1 महीने से मुझे कि सीता माँ के साथ शायद शायद कहीं मैं भी थी उस टाइम पे, मुझे ये अंदर से फील आ रहा है। थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
I'm so happy you got the book. Where you got it through your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was it in Bangalore? Where was it?
Oh, from Delhi, my daughter Vibhuti and Shashank.
Ah, Vibhuti in Delhi. Okay. Very good. Yes. Yes. Wonderful. It will be coming out in Hindi soon. It should be available, but you have it in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
In Bharat, we are the reader of Hindi. So it would be
It's
great
coming
pleasure
out.
for us to,
Yeah, it should be available very soon in Hindi. It's been translated already.
yeah, ma'am. And the emotion has no language, right? You, whatever Praveen ji says, you understand, right?
Not so much.
Okay. So she feels great connection with you and Sita's Yog because
Yeah.
you have gifted by her daughter. Her daughter is
Yes.
working with you.
Yeah, I understood that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So she felt very much deepest gratitude to you also. And Untold Story of Sita, she recently joined with us for this Swadhyay. And then after Sita's Yoga, you presented to her. So she's really grateful for you. Yeah. Yes, Neeta Sidde ji, unmute kariye please. Yes, ma'am. No? Yes. Ma'am, have you a little more time, right?
I have about 10 more minutes. I have another call in about 15 minutes. So I have about 10 more minutes.
Yeah, ma'am. We will finish. Yeah.
Namaste,
Yes,
ma'am.
Neeta.
Namaste, Dena, ma'am. So I'm so happy to see you. I feel so blessed to be talking to you. And I have read your Untold Story of Sita, and I'm reading it for the second time now. And I really feel so blessed. And thank you so much for writing these books. And last week I had attended Sita's yoga with Maitreyi. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
really, yes, I'm waiting for you to hear from you again on Monday next week. So thank you so
Yes.
much. And there are
Okay.
so many beautiful topics you have picked up. I really loved it when I first heard it last week.
I'm so happy. Wonderful. Okay. Well, we're going to continue with that. Going
Yes.
through the, yes.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. Love you.
Love you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Neeta ji. Yes, Veena ji, unmute kariye.
Namaskar, Dena Merriam ma'am. I also read the Sitayan book 3 times, and when I read, and each and every time I connect with you also, and it was my also wish ki I can meet with you, I can talk with you, and today I suddenly got this link, and thank you so much for this month also. But I want to give gratitude, but I want to tell you, Rukmani also I want in Hindi. I am trying. I can't understand completely in English book. So emotions cannot connect with us because we are our base is Hindi. So request to you provide us Rukmani in Hindi also. So
Okay. I'll work on that.
yeah, so we can connect with Rukmani. I have tried Rukmani in English, but I am not connecting properly. But like Sitayan, I am so much connected, and I want to connect like that. This and अभी भी हमारे सामने ऐसा होता है कि कितने ही लोगों को राम से शिकायत थी कि सीता के साथ जो हुआ वो क्यों हुआ, और ये सिर्फ और सिर्फ जो हम लोगों को आंसर दे पाते हैं कि कितना मतलब एक करेक्ट सा और जेन्युइन सा और जो रियलिटी के साथ जोड़ता हुआ सीता माँ का जो मैसेज है कि कुछ भी मेरे साथ या हम में से किसी के साथ भी गलत नहीं हो रहा है, वो सब हमारी खुद की लर्निंग के लिए होता है। एंड आई चूज all the steps in my life, like when I was pregnant, I live अयोध्या। तो वो जो एक आज की माँ के लिए जो मैसेज है उसके अंदर, जो अभी भी मदर्स जो हैं उसको अच्छे से समझ नहीं पा रही हैं कि माँ का होना कितना, मतलब माँ होना अपने आप में कितना जरूरी और एक जिम्मेवारी का काम है, जो सीता माता ने किया वहां पे कि अपने अयोध्या को छोड़कर उन्होंने वन में रह के अपने बच्चों का पालन पोषण किया। वो मैसेज जो है वो और भी ज्यादा हमारी पूरी अर्थ के लिए, इस समय की मदर्स के लिए इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि हाउ टू ग्रो योर चाइल्ड, हाउ टू ग्रो योर चाइल्ड। एंड उस मैसेज को मेरी कोशिश सबसे ज्यादा रह रही है कि मैं हर मदर तक पहुंच जा पाऊं कि आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो। एक बच्चे को अगर आप इस धरती पे लेके आ रहे हो तो आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि कैसे आप अर्थ के साथ कनेक्टेड करो, कैसे आप अपने बच्चे को बेस से बड़ा कर रहे हो। वो जो माँ ने करके दिखाया, मतलब अपने सारे सुखों को छोड़ के, अपने सारे सुखों को छोड़ के भी, पर अभी हम अपने सुखों को भी साथ में कनेक्ट करके अपने सेल्फ लव के साथ भी रह के किस तरह से अपने बच्चे को टाइम दे, ये सब चीजें जो उसके अंदर डीपली सीखने को मिली है ना, उसके लिए मैं हमेशा आपका ग्रेटिट्यूड करती हूँ। और इसी तरह से मैं रुक्मणी से भी वो लर्निंग हर स्टेप पे डीपली लेना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरह से हम आज वुमेन को और हेल्प कर सकते हैं, नॉर्मल लाइफ में भी और रिलेशनशिप में भी और अपनी फैमिली की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज में भी, अपनी लाइफ के जो भी इश्यूज हैं उनमें भी, हर एक चीज उसमें छोटी से छोटी कनेक्ट करी मुझे। और ईच एंड एवरी टाइम, ईच एंड एवरी वर्ड टीयर्स, मतलब बिकम
Yeah.
टीयर्स, मतलब ऐसा होता है कि अगर बात भी करते हैं ना सीता माता की तो आंख से आंसू आना स्वाभाविक हो जाता है, मतलब इतना नेचुरल है हमारे लिए सीता माता से जुड़ना। तो थैंक
Thank
यू
you.
सो मच कपिला मैम और इस मंच का कि डेना मरियम जी से हमारा ये पर्सनल इतना सुंदर
Interaction
बात हो
रहा.
पा रहा है यहाँ पे। यस, ये
Yes.
बहुत बहुत और भी सीता माता से हमारा कनेक्शन और भी डीप हो रहा है यहाँ पे, ऐसा फील
Right.
कर पा रही हूँ।
Right. Right. Thank you.
थैंक
Thank you,
यू।
Veena ma'am. So Dena ma'am, she is telling like that the untold story of Sita. She particularly pick the point that is parenting. Sita Ma, the way she has performed the motherhood, like just love and push. She develop their her children. So it is the main or powerful point that Veena ma'am pick. So it is the impactful conversation here that she is receiving that message that each and every mother should respect their motherhood, and the parenting is the most powerful way to treat the new generation. She is telling like that, ma'am.
Wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. We have time for, I think, one more.
Yeah, ma'am. Last question. Yes, Rachna ji, come here.
तो मैम, सबसे पहले आपको ग्रेटिट्यूड कि आपके चलते बहुत सारी सच्चाई जो हम नहीं जानते थे, रामायण के माध्यम से हमने बहुत सारी चीजें जो हमने इस बुक में सीतायान में पढ़ी कि सीता माता और शांता, जो ऋषि शांता है, जो श्री राम की बहन है, उनके जो अनदेखे कार्य थे जो वो लोग कर रहे थे, और उन्हें पता भी था कि उनकी जो कार्य हैं वो कहीं नहीं दिखेंगी, फिर भी वो अपने कार्य कर रहे थे। तो ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें थी जो हमने सीतायान के माध्यम से जानी, और बहुत सारी चीजें जो हम इन फ्यूचर, हम न्यू जनरेशन जो है उनको सही चीजों का नॉलेज आपके माध्यम से जो हमें मिला, और हम वो सारी चीजें कन्वे करेंगे। तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है हमारे लिए कि हमने सीतायान के माध्यम से ये सब जाना। और अगर कहें तो बुक खुद ही हमें चुनती है कि हम कैसे बुक के साथ कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं। सारी चीजें रही मैम, लेकिन मेरे अंदर एक और क्वेश्चन है कि हैव यू फील एनी कनेक्शन विथ सोमा और हनुमान इन दिस लाइफ टाइम मैम?
In the introduction to the new book, Sita's Yoga, I talk about how I was in the middle of writing a book about the future, memories of a future life, and in that future life, I was looking for Soma, wondering if I would meet her again, and I didn't see her. I didn't find her, and I began to really miss her, sort of yearn for her. And that's when I had the dream where I saw Sitama, and she led me to a place where Soma was there, and Soma laid out the foundation for this new book, Sita's Yoga. And so to connect with Soma, one has to connect with her in the higher realm, because I don't find her on earth now. Now, in terms of Hanuman, many people say that Neem Karoli Baba was a manifestation of Hanuman. I didn't meet Neem Karoli Baba, but my closest friends are devotees of his. So I'm somehow connected with that Sangha. And I've heard many, many stories of Neem Karoli Baba. And I see in him an aspect of Hanuman. So that may be that he was an incarnation of Hanuman. I can't say for sure, but that may be.
ग्रेट। तो थैंक यू सो मच रचना जी। मैम मैम को रचना जी का ये क्वेश्चन था कि हनुमान जी और सोमा से आपका इस लाइफ टाइम में कोई कनेक्शन हुआ? तो मैम बता रही है कि सोमा को उन्होंने एक ड्रीम में देखा था, जो सीता माँ की प्रे से ही वो सोमा को देख पाई थी, क्योंकि वो सोमा को कहीं फाइंड नहीं कर रही थी। तो सीता योग में उन्होंने उनका जिक्र किया है। और हनुमान जी का जो कनेक्शन है उनको फील हुआ नीम कारोली बाबा में। उनके जो कोई फ्रेंड है वो उनके डिवोटी रहे, तो वो पर्टिकुलरली पर्सनली फील कर रही है कि नीम करोली बाबा जो है वो हनुमान जी के ही अवतार है। तो इस तरीके से उनको हनुमान जी का भी ये कनेक्शन फील होता है। तो थैंक यू सो मच। वन क्वेश्चन इज देयर मैम, डू यू हैव लिटिल टाइम, जस्ट 5 minutes?
One question, yes.
Yes, last question, Sunita ji. Be particular and short and sweet question, ma'am. Yes, unmute yourself.
Namaste, ma'am. I just want to thank you for this wonderful work that you're doing. And I just want to convey my husband's regards. Like, he also read your book maybe in 2023. He was in Bangalore and he was away from family. So he used to spend time by reading this book. And this book, in fact, inspired my daughter so much after the father has read. So why I'm mentioning about him is that this book is even getting so popular between the males also. People who are inclined towards their spiritual journey and growth, they are going through it. And in fact, it is leaving a lasting impression on their minds. What they could not understand with our traditional Ramayana, they are able to get through your books, ma'am. I'm so much grateful for your good work, and thank you so much. This is all I wanted to say.
Thank you
We are
for sharing.
enjoying your book.
And I'm happy that your husband has read it. It's as
Yeah,
much.
sorry, I'm not able to introduce him to him right now because he's not here. Else, he would have loved to mention whatever his experiences were while reading the book. But I thought it's important because none of the male members are over here. But I just wanted you to know that yes, even the male fraternity is looking forward to this kind of work for their own journey. Thank you, ma'am.
Send your husband my deepest regards. Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
this
you,
has
Sunita
been
ji.
wonderful to
Yes,
meet with
ma'am.
you all, and we can begin to plan. We can do this again. I'm happy
Yes,
to do
ma'am.
this again.
Thank you so much. Your last message, ma'am, at Miracle Mind Bharat PMC Jamnagar.
Well, I think we can delve into a particular aspect of the books. which you can talk about what you'd like that to be, but there could be a whole discussion on karma, on rebirth, on the higher planes, on the yugas. There are many different aspects. One of the transformations that I have gone through in the process of writing these is it's changed my whole relationship with what we call death. Which is the death, moving from here to there or moving from there to here.
Right.
And we can talk about existing in multi dimensions at the same time. There are many different things that we can go into. So I will leave that for you, and won't say goodbye, but I'll say until next time, until we meet again.
Thank you,
Be
ma'am.
well.
Deepest gratitude. We have
Take
immense
care.
pleasure that. Yes.
Take care and be well, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll
Do
leave
come
you
again.
now. Yes.
We
Okay.
are
I will
waiting
leave
for
you.
your valuable time, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Such a precious gift you have given us, that your meeting is really mind-blowing for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Heartfelt gratitude.
Thank you.
Yeah. थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू मास्टर्स, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, जिस वजह से मैम का ये टाइम हमें मिल पाया, उनकी वैल्यूएबल प्रेजेंस के लिए आप सभी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू सो मच. एनीथिंग एल्स यू हैव टू से?
थैंक यू
किसी
कपिला,
को कुछ भी?
जैसे मैम
ये
हम कनेक्ट हो पाए, आपके लिए बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
थैंक यू सो मच.
मैडम, नेक्स्ट टाइम जब भी आप ये मीटिंग रखेंगे डेना मैम के साथ, तो आप प्लीज लिंक ऐसा शेयर हम किसी प्लेटफॉर्म में, मतलब यहाँ जो है मैं इंस्टा और यूट्यूब में फॉलो करूंगी, तो वहाँ हमको मिल जाएगा, राइट?
राइट, यस.
ओके.
किसी को कोई एक क्वेश्चन है रचना कि हमारी व्हाट्सएप लिंक ओपन नहीं हो रही है. आप अनम्यूट करिए.
मैंने ग्रुप में फिर से डाल दिया था.
अच्छा,
वो
तो
उनका ही फॉल्ट
किसी को
होगा, अदरवाइज सभी ज्वाइन कर पा रहे हैं इजीली, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
नहीं, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में.
हाँ, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में ही.
यस, थैंक यू सो मच फ्रेंड्स, आप सभी का
मैम?
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. बहुत ही सुंदर